Hi everyone and welcome back to a new video. In today's video I will be talking about the Mage Tower events and I will explain what are in my opinion the best ways to make some gold with this event. So for those of you who are not aware yet, the Mage Tower has been confirmed to be back on March 29th and this time it will be permanent, so it won't be linked to the Legion time working event. So it means that really after March 29th, you will be able to do it at any time and it will remain like that, probably even after the launch of the next expansion. So this means that right now you can definitely start preparing and that you will be able to make some gold with different activities that are really good for the Mage Tower event. And so this is what I want to focus on in this video. Before I start, I just want to mention that I know a lot of people already started to talk about it and that a lot of people are saying it's going to be the next gold printer, that it's going to be like an insane way to make some gold. And I would disagree. I think it's going to be a good way to make some gold. It's definitely going to be an interesting way, especially for a lot of people who are not interested in like the Shadowlands, legendaries, and all these different crafting activities. It's going to be definitely a good way. But I think it's not comparable to what it was during patch 9.1.5. And in my opinion, there are different reasons that explains why it's going to be a little bit less interesting than in patch 9.1.5. So again, right now it's gonna become permanent. So like unlike patch 9.1.5, people don't have the sense of urgency. They're not like, for instance, thinking like I need to rush it because I really want this set or I really want the mount and I only have like 3 weeks. So I really need to put all the chances on my side and I'm gonna spend maybe like 300k on a full gladiator set just to really increase my chances. So that was the case back in patch 9.1.5, but right now I don't think it's gonna be really like that for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are just really gonna go there casually, and as it's now permanent, they won't really spend hours and hours and hours in the Mage Tower. Also, one thing that was really good with patch 9.1.5 was the fact that a lot of people were discovering new ways to make some gold. For instance, like new enchants or like these other like consumables you could craft and all these armor pieces you could craft that were like the best slot in order to really increase your chance. So there was not like a lot of knowledge, and so when people were finding out something, of course the prices were really crazy because there was not a lot of competition and people were not really aware. But now everyone knows what to do, and I will show you just after. We had even like published two guides on like really the best gears you can craft in order to increase your chance, and all the main like, consumables and potions and everything you can craft that are really the most relevant for the Mage Tower. So I personally think that there's going to be more competition and that, of course, the prices are going to crash down a little bit. And this is why I would not consider it like the next gold printer. I would say still it's interesting and you should still like try to spend a little bit of time farming all these different items, farming the different recipes, crafting all these different consumables and materials. But I just want to be a little bit honest and say like I think it's gonna be good, but it's not gonna be the next big thing. I don't think you're gonna make billions just with the Mage Tower. I mean, maybe like on high pop realms, you're gonna be able to really, especially the first week, first 2 weeks, to really make a lot of gold. But then I think it's gonna be very competitive, and yeah, I would say probably like it's gonna remain like a good, steady way of making gold, but not the next gold printer, in my opinion, at least. So that's it for this really short like opinion of mine. Maybe I will be wrong, and honestly I would love to be wrong. It's just like I think, of course, a lot of people are building a lot of momentum, and so yeah, I think it's going to be very competitive. That's all I have to say. But now let's move to the main part of this video, which is what are the best ways to make some gold during this event. So I'm going to go through the list, try to explain each time why I think they're the most relevant, and also explain how you can do it yourself. And yeah, hopefully you will be able to find some interesting activities, and you will be able to also make a lot of gold with the Mage Tower. So let's start with what is, in my opinion, going to be the best way, and it's going to be by crafting all the different gear. So the one that everyone has in mind is the different gladiator sets. So these gladiator sets from Mr. Pandaria are really good. And as you can see, normally the eye level is 39 and the required level is 35. But if you're using some of the relic of the past, you will be able to increase the eye level to 54 and the required level to 47, or the eye level to 48 and the required level to 41. So by using these different relic of the past, you can really easily make some interesting sets, and then these sets are the best sets you can buy on the auction house, and that people can then use in order to increase their chance to complete the different challenges. So as you can see in their guide on Warhead, they really just added everything you can use in order to increase your gear. So here, as you can see, the first one is going to be the Chromie Time gear set, then the crafted PvP gear set, and then the Siege of Orgrimmar gear and the Shadowlands gear. And so really the only ones you can make gold out of is really going to be these different like crafted gears. So here you really have the full list of items you can craft with the different relic of the past you need to use. And so really for me, I think this is like a pretty complete gear, so I would recommend you to do that. Especially I think again, what like leatherworking, blacksmithing are going to be the best ones. Tailoring is good as well, but it's not like as good as a leatherworking and blacksmithing, so I would recommend you to like focus on these two. And yeah, so when it comes to crafting the different relic of the past, you can really use any profession whatsoever. Even if, for instance, you want to craft some like Mist of Pandaria leatherworking armor pieces, you can use your vanilla tailoring like work in order to craft some of these relic of the past, and then they can be used to upgrade leatherworking pieces. So really, these ones don't cost anything to craft. I would actually recommend you also to sell some of them on the auction house. I remember during the first time the Mage Tower was released, I sold a lot of them for like 5,000 gold, which literally was like a 4,900 profit. So it was really, really good. But yeah, after that, what is interesting is that they're also like saying that you can craft some other armor pieces in order to really make the best set available. So some of them are going to be the Legion and BFA rings, which I think is a really good point. And then, of course, for the back, you have the Legion random cloak. So in order to craft the different rings from BFA, it's really easy. Honestly, you can just buy a lot of these different platinum ore. As you can see, it on most realms it really doesn't cost anything, or of course monolite or storm silver, but platinum is usually the best. And then you can easily like upgrade your professions to at least 150. And after that, you will be able to craft all these different rings. So as you can see, the green ones are really so easy to craft, and you will then be able to sell them for quite a lot, because as you can see, the eye level is 52, you have 1 gem, and then you have, of course, the level is 45, so you can use them for the Mage Tower. And so I would say like all these like green rings are going to be extremely relevant. When it comes to, of course, the different like bags, as Wohan mentioned, the ones from Legions are going to be pretty interesting. As you can see again, you have these ones that have like an eye level 48, and then the required level is 43. And then you have also, I guess, some other back. So I don't remember where they are. But normally you also have like over armor, yes, here, as you can see, so 45 and 53 eye level. So these ones are really going to be the best. And yeah, I mean, it's not really difficult to craft. So if you have a tailor, I would highly recommend you to look into the possibility to craft these. As you can see, I still need to unlock these ones. But yeah, I will definitely do so, because I think on my realm, I'll probably like be like amongst the first ones to sell them. And so I think at the beginning, I'll probably be able to make a little bit of gold with these different cloaks. But yeah, so the different Mist of Pandaria glider sets, and then all these other like rings and cloaks you can craft are going to be extremely relevant in my opinion. So after that, at number 2, we're going to have all the different gems. So in my opinion, really, the gems are going to be some of the things you're going to sell the most. Some of the most interesting gems are, in my opinion, the ones from BFA. because they're very easy to craft and they're really good. Some of them are the best gems you can find. So really, I think it's a good way. I would say either like the epic ones are the best ones, and then of course you have all these blue and green one, and of course you also have like these other like gems, but these ones require a little bit more. And yeah, it's still very, very good as well. And as you can see, the sell rate on most of them is really good. So I would highly recommend you to craft these ones. You, of course, also have the different gems from Cataclysm and also from Outland. So Outland, you have all these ones. They're very like, I mean, they're not too difficult to get. And I mean, the reputation is not too difficult to upgrade. But again, it can be a little bit more annoying. I would say really the Zendalari ones, it took me maybe 1 hour to upgrade to 150, and then I was able to craft all the different gems, and it really didn't require more than like, I think like 10,000, 15,000 gold to upgrade to 150. And of course, when I was upgrading, I was crafting all the different rings, so it was also things I could then sell. So yeah, I would recommend you mostly to do that. But of course, on Warhead, they're also having a lot of other recommendations. So as you can see, in terms of the best gems, they're really putting all the different gems that you can craft and the best ones. So here, as you can see, you have some from Lich King, from Cataclysm, from Mist of Pandaria. Then here also the BFA ones, the Legion ones. You have like really so many different gems you can craft. As you can see, some of the really best in slots are going to be the ones from BFA. So that's why I always recommend you to do that. But of course, you have a lot of other options, and so I would recommend you to just go through this guide and see which ones you think you will be able to like craft really fast. For instance, if you already have the different reputations unlocked, or if you already have the different professions upgraded, then you can choose the different gems you want to craft. But of course, as you can see, the BFA ones are really going to be the most interesting ones, and again, they're so easy to craft. So I would highly recommend you to do that. And I think you will be able to make a lot of gold, especially in the beginning, with these different gems. In third position, I would say that all the different like gear ameliorations are going to be extremely interesting. So for instance, I'm thinking about the different leg armor from Mist of Pandaria with leather working. So as you can see, all these different leg armors will upgrade, some stats on your leg piece, and so this is extremely, extremely valuable. You also have the green ones. The green ones can still sell. As you can see, I sold some of them for more than 2k, and it doesn't require a lot of things. In order to get the recipes for the blue ones, it's not too difficult. You just need to get honored with the golden lotus, and in order to get honored, it's so easy. What you want to do is just go around all Mist of Pandaria and kill the Zendalari mobs that can drop some reputation token. It's 1,000 per token, and you have like all the 5 different reputations. So I would highly recommend you to do that. It's so easy. You have 1 here, and then 2 that are working. Then here, same, you have 1 that is located here, and 2 that are working here and here. In Kunlai, you have 1 that is located just here, and then you have 2 working here and here. One that is really good, of course, is going to be on the island of the giants and on the boats. This one will drop all the different reputations, so a really good one to kill. In a Jade Forest, you will have 1 here, and then 1 here, and 1 here. And then finally, in the Krazarang Wilds, you have 1 here, and 1 walking around here, and 1 walking around here. You can easily find all the information, and these are really, it should take, if you're a little bit lucky and you're playing on a like not too high pop realm and there is not too much competition, it can really take just a few hours to get the reputation unlocked. And so I would recommend you to do that, and then to get the different recipes. And really, these different leg armors are going to be extremely interesting in my opinion. You also have, of course, with blacksmithing, you have the different belt buckles. So these ones are like allowing you to add an extra socket on your belt. So this is extremely interesting. You have the one from Mist of Pandaria or the one from Wrath of the Lich King. This one is very easy to unlock. You just need to have the like profession maxed out, and then you will be able to craft the item. As you can see, I sold some of them for like 8,000 gold. And then this one, it's also like not too difficult. So for this one, you need to have the Claxi reputation to honored. And again, what you can do, the internet is here. And then what you can do is again farm all the different Zandalari mobs, and you will be able probably like to get the reputation maxed out pretty easily. So yeah, that's all I think about. And of course, if you want to upgrade the reputations, what you can do easily is buy the recommendation. So that will increase the reputation you're getting on all your different characters. So for instance, here, as you can see, it's this one. Unlocks 100% bonus reputation for all the characters. And I'm pretty sure that most of you will have at least one character with this reputation maxed out. So then you can just use that. And instead of receiving 1000 per token, your character will receive 2000. So it's extremely easy. So yeah, that's my recommendation if you want to upgrade the reputation and get these different like amelioration piece. You of course have other ones. You also have, like, for instance, with inscriptions and things like that. And again, on Warhead, they're providing all this information. So here, as you can see, they're mentioning the one from inscription for the shoulders. There is also this one, the leg from tailoring, that could also be useful. Of course, the belt buckle. And yeah, I would say, as you can see, these are the main recommendations from Warhead, and I really think they make a lot of sense. You also have, for instance, this one, the thing you can add on your ranged weapon, and you have of course like other things. At the end, they're also mentioning the different stones you can add to your weapons. So for instance, this one, the shaded waystone, and all these ones, you can of course also use them. And finally, the different armor kits. So I also sold some of them, and they're very easy to craft. As you can see, they're from Shadowlands, Cataclysm, Battle for Azeroth, and Wrath of the Lich King. And really, all these different kits will also be very useful. So even the ones from Shadowlands can be used. And yeah, I think really it's really all these items are going to be extremely interesting. So after that, at number 4, I'm gonna put all the different materials that you need to use in order to craft the different like gladiator and all these different materials and armor pieces. So for instance, when it comes to leather, I would say the different materials for Mr. Thunder are going to be the best ones, because you need a lot of them in order to craft all the different gladiator armor pieces. So the exotic leather and the magnificent hide are going to be extremely interesting. Same with the different minerals from Mist of Pandaria. So this is the ghost iron ore. So these ones are also going to be extremely interesting, and I would recommend you to look into like maybe ways to like flip them if on your realm they're selling for nothing. You also have, of course, what is going to be one of the best item and material you can like farm, and it's the Spirit of Harmony. So with the Spirit of Harmony, you can buy all these other items, and you also need for most of them some in order to craft the different items. As you can see here, for instance, if I go in the like profession, so you will need like 2 of them. So of course you will need to like purchase a lot of these different exotic levers. So I would say really the Spirit of Harmony is going to be one of the best one, and then of course the exotic lever and the ghost iron ore. When it comes to like the cloth, I really don't think it's worth flipping anything. It's so easy to get. This is why all the tailoring armor pieces are not so like expensive, and that's why I would recommend you to focus more on blacksmithing and leatherworking. But still, if you see that really there is not a lot, you can try to flip it. As you can see, it's not really risky, because that's with the current price. Even if you flip like 100,000, it's not going to be like too risky. But yeah, that's another part. And so I would say that yeah, all these different materials are going to be extremely interesting. Of course, you also have the materials for all the other like crafts you can actually sell, such as the different gems, all these different things. So again, you are more than welcome to like craft some of the gems and then sell some of the materials. But most of the time, it's really going to be the materials for the crafted gears that especially are going to be interesting. So yeah, so that's going to be my number 4. So at number 5, I'm gonna talk about all the different consumables. So you have like really a lot of things from like the different potions to the different, for instance, drums, and of course you have like all the different food buff and everything you can use. So again, go ahead, made a clear list of what are the best ones, and then you can just simply decide to craft the ones that you think are the most relevant. I think one of the items that was like really, really good during patch 9.1.5 was the different drums from Shadowlands. So the drums of Delphi Ferocity. These ones were so easy to craft and they were selling like candies. Again, I think right now maybe it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but you can still try to reset the market and you will most likely be able to make a lot of like a lot of sales. But as there is a lot of people also crafting and selling the items for the new raid and everything, like probably a lot of people are going to try to crash down the market to sell like a maximum of them. And again, there's probably going to have a lot of competition. So it's still going to be very good, but again, probably like there's going to have a little bit more competition. So after that, on Warhead, as you can see, they're also recommending to get some of these runes. So especially the Veiled Augment runes from Shadowlands is extremely cheap at the moment. So you might want to purchase like a few of them, and you might be able to sell some of them. But as you can see, they sell for 11 gold. So the cost in order like the fee in order to create the auction is actually pretty high, so I would just recommend you to get a couple of them, but it's always a little bit tricky to sell many of them. Then of course all the different drums, the best one being the one from Shadowlands. You then have all these other items that are also like gear ameliorations, but still you can like also use them. For instance, this one, the different alls, so that can also be very interesting. And yes, after that, I would say that you have all these, like other potions from like Legion, for instance. They're telling you that the best one is from Legion here as well. When it comes to these additional potions, the best ones are going to be Shadowlands, but then BFA, and of course the main potion is going to be BFA, and then yeah, Warriors of Draenor. So yeah, when it comes to the food, Shadowlands is going to be pretty good. BFA here, as you can see, is also really, really good in terms of the primary stats. But yeah, all these different foods, you can craft them. Again, I think the easiest for you is to go through this guide on Warhead, and you will be able to see which ones you should focus on and which ones you can already craft. But yeah, same for the flask. It's going to be BFA, one of the best one, and then Legion. So yeah, I would say really again have a look at the guide and try to craft some of these best in slot potions and food buffs and everything, and normally you will be able to make quite a lot of gold. So after that, I'm going to talk about the different enchants. So you have like many enchants, and some of the best ones are, for instance, the Crusader enchant. It's a really, really good one. But again, I think right now, for instance, if you go on the Undermine Journal, you can see that on most realms, these sell now for an average like 3,000 gold, which is not so good. I mean, it's still going to be like pretty interesting for many people, but it's not going to like be as good as during patch 9.1.5. But next to this one, because this one is a little bit tricky, you need like a rare recipe in order to start crafting this enchant. This is why it's a little bit more expensive than others. But other than this one, you have many other enchants that you can craft and that will probably like make you like quite a lot of gold. So again, if you go on Warhead, they will really let you know what are all the best enchants you can craft. So you really have the full list. I would say probably like some of the like Shadowlands ones are going to be pretty interesting. Then you have like probably like BFA and like the ones that are even from lower like expansions are still going to be relevant. So again, try to craft the ones you can craft, and if you want to spend a little bit more time, you can try to unlock the like best in slot recipes, and then you should be able to like make a little bit of gold. But again, for instance, the ones from Shadowlands are not that expensive at the moment, and I don't think you can really reset the market that easily. So these are just going to remain, like good, but they're not going to be, for instance, as good as these other like gear amelioration gears that you can then be like less like on the auction house to sell. So I think it's still going to be relevant to sell some of these enchants, but if you see that, for instance, some of them sell for like 50 gold, don't really bother. It's not that interesting. So yeah, this is pretty much it for the different enchants. So At number 6, I would say that one really good way is just simply gonna be like by flipping all these different materials and maybe like some of these like crafted like consumables and gems and everything. I think on many realms you will be able to reset the market pretty easily. Especially that is something you can do now. I'm thinking especially about the like different materials from Mist of Pandaria. You can try to reset the market, and most likely you will be able to sell them for twice, 3 times the price in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, it's always a little bit risky to flip. So this is only if you have enough gold and if you're feeling like it will be rewarding on your realm. On high pop realms, for instance, it's always a little bit tricky to do that. But still, so I would say this is also going to be an interesting way during the Mage Tower to make some gold. And so that's why I'm going to mention it at number 6. At number 7, I'm actually thinking about all the different BoEs that you can get from the Tomb of Segaras raid. So as you are maybe aware, with Tomb of Segaras, you have like all these different items, and some of the BOEs are unique. So it means that if the person wants to complete the full set of Tomb of Segaras, they will have to buy the different BOEs. So as you can see, for instance, here, these like plate boots. So like they are like these belts, for instance, or like some of these other items are unique. And so a lot of people will want to like finish their Tomb of Sargeras set because the recorder from the Mage Tower is the recorder version of the like TOS raid set, and so I'm pretty sure that it's going to boost a little bit the sales. Especially the mythic ones are, of course, going to be the best ones. They're really, really interesting, and I think you might be able to make quite a lot of gold. As you can see on most realms, the value is already good, and the sell rate is not too bad for most of them. And so, yeah, I think if you have a little bit of time, I will make a video soon summarizing how you can get these different BOEs. But yeah, I think really this is, in my opinion, going to be like an interesting way to make also some gold. And so that's why I want to mention it. And I think if you have a little bit of time, you should definitely do it. And keep in mind that these transmogs are anyway selling even without the Mage Tower, so you will still be able to sell them eventually. But I think it's going to boost the sales with this, Mage Tower being permanent now. And finally, one thing I want to mention is going to be the different legendary crafts from Legion. So with Legion, you were able to craft some of these like legendary items. And so even if the different powers are not like useful in the Mage Tower, you are still have like 3 sockets. And so even in Warhead, they say that these are probably like the best items you can craft. The eye level is the maximum, and you have 3 sockets. So the only issue with these ones, and that's why it's only number 8, is that it's a little bit annoying to craft. But if you can craft some of them, then I would say like try to craft one of each and try to sell them. And I'm pretty sure some people might be interested at some point to buy them. And also, again, they have like unique appearances. So anyway, people might also just buy them for the transmog, but most likely some people might be interested. And so that's why I wanted to mention it here, just so you have that in mind as well. So that's it for the list. I'm sure I'm forgetting many things, but again, I will link the 2 guides on the different armor pieces and on the different materials, buff, and everything you can craft from Warhead, because I think it's very comprehensive. One thing I would say that is going to be very helpful if you want to have, like a lot of sales, is going to be like to create one group on TSM specific to all these different items relevant for the Mage Tower. And then you can really easily reset these ones in priority. So just create one group and put all these different like enchants, like armor pieces, everything, and you will normally be able to like have a lot of sales, because if you just leave it in your main tab, then it might be a little bit tricky. And yeah, so other than that, I think I can just say again, spend a little bit of time, try to unlock some of these recipes, especially the top ones. I think, like for instance, the different crafted gears and the different gear ameliorations and things like that, and the gems are going to be the best ones. Try to spend a little bit of time, but again, keep in mind it's probably going to become a little bit competitive, and probably like the prices are going to crash a little, like at some point, because many people are going to start selling them. But still, I would recommend you to start looking into it now, because you can really start crafting all of these, and you can really start probably have some sales. And as soon as the Mage Tower will be released on March 29th, you will also probably get a lot of sales. So do that as soon as possible before the prices go down a little bit. And yeah, hopefully you will be able to make quite a lot of gold with the Mage Tower. So that's it for the video. I will be back with more videos. Maybe I will do more on the Mage Tower. Maybe just try to really, for instance, highlight how you can unlock some of these specific recipes and everything. So I will see. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you will be able to make some gold. And I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.